Norway now passing the test of terrorism. You'll recall on 9/11, we had here in the United States, we had a couple of days after 9/11, which, for Norway, this is their 9/11. In fact, given how much smaller a country it is, it may be even proportional. And we had a couple of days there where the entire world was with us, where we were all in mourning. There were some crazies, some angry crazies among us, but the bottom line was that if we had dealt with 9/11 the same way that we dealt with Oklahoma City, okay, there's apparently 19 criminals who are responsible for this, and perhaps people affiliated with them. We are going to use the FBI, the CIA, Interpol, international police agencies. We're going to find out who they are. We're going to find out who's backing them up, and we're going to arrest them. That's what we did with Oklahoma City. That's what the Norwegians did with Anders Breivik, and this is what we need to be. This is what we should have been doing on 9/11. But instead, George W. Bush, when he first, a year before he was even running for office, he was saying he wanted to invade Iraq. 6 months before 9/11, Dick Cheney had an energy task force meeting in the White House with a bunch of oil industry executives where they literally divided up the oil fields in Iraq, and decided what companies and what countries they were going to sell them to. By the way, China got the first big new oil field in Iraq. They are now pumping oil out of Iraq. The first new oil field to go live in 20 years. We are, of course, providing the military support for that. So Norway is passing the terrorism test so far. So far, the Prime Minister of Norway came out and gave a speech, and he said the answer to this is more democracy and a more open society. Those are the exact words he used in Norwegian. George Bush said the response to this is to close down our society, to shut down our society, to create a national security state, to be afraid, be very afraid, and to hand over as much power as possible to corporations. And if you as a citizen are going to do anything, it's not to reach out to your neighbors. It's not to pray for forgiveness for these people, which is the thing that every world's religion calls for. It's not to find in our hearts and souls what might have what behaviors might have led other people to hate us so much that they would do this, or for that matter, to even look at our history. Bin Laden was pretty clear about it. It was the U.S. Air Force base in Saudi Arabia that Herbert Walker Bush put there when he told Saddam Hussein, "Yeah, go ahead, invade Kuwait, no problem," through his envoy April Gillespie. And then when Saddam Hussein invaded, hey, we can have a 100-hour war, and I'll get he really spiked him in the opinion polls. As his son pointed out, he should have stretched that war out for at least a few months, at least until the election. He would have gotten reelected. And it's actually probably true. If Herbert Walker Bush had stretched out the first Gulf War until the elections, in all probability, he would have beat Bill Clinton. But he didn't. It only lasted 3 days. Because regardless of what you think of Herbert Walker Bush, and I think that the guy is a war criminal and a criminal in many regards in the United States, I don't think he's a sociopath the way his son was. He wasn't willing to extend the killing. He was horrified by the killing. He was a bomber pilot during World War II. He had seen killing. He had participated in killing. And I'm guessing he probably had some feelings about it that his son didn't have. So anyhow, Norway is passing the test. But what is it that animated this guy? What caused this Norwegian terrorist to go off the deep end? I would submit to you that there is an absolute correlation between what John Boehner did last night on television, which is lie to the American people for political gain and turn the president into an enemy for the purpose of political gain, because that's what he did. The president was decent enough, for lack of a better word, to speak well of John Boehner and to call out, to paraphrase Abraham Lincoln in his second inaugural, the very end of it, to call for our better angels. But not John Boehner. John Boehner came out and attacked the president, went off on this rant about the president. And this is what the right-wing media has been doing. When you've got nothing to offer the American people, then the thing that you offer them is to scare the hell out of them. And so you get things like, here, clip number one, Jacob, this is Pam Geller on Islam. Pam Geller, by the way, was, the Norway terrorist. I want to get into this in a second, too. He's not only a global warming denier, but he also, was citing Pam Geller. He cited Pam Geller 12 times in his manifesto. Here she is.
There's a complicity by the media. There's a silence. People don't want to talk about it. And, of course, now, as outlined in my book, the Obama administration, which is so pro-Islam, there's certainly a reluctance to address the issue. When he was in Cairo, he equated the violation of women's rights in America to those in the Muslim world, and they're quite different.
Right. So it's the president who's like some kind of terrorist? I mean, Pam Geller, here, clip number 4, Michael Savage.
It's a bloodthirsty religionist practiced over there by a bunch of throwbacks and we're to kill them.
Yeah. Clip number 5, Glenn Beck.
I'm thinking about killing Michael Moore, and I'm wondering if I could kill him myself or if I would need to hire somebody to do it.
Clip number 6, Mark Levin.
Are you a married woman, yes or no?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why your husband doesn't put a gun to his temple. Get the hell out of here.
Clip number 7, Sarah Palin.
Don't retreat, reload.
Right. And clip number 8, Hate Your Government, Michelle Bachmann.
Really, now in Washington, I'm a foreign correspondent on enemy lines. I want people in Minnesota armed and dangerous.
And see, that's what this guy was believing in Norway, that he was behind enemy lines in Norway, and he had to take out Norwegians who were members of the Labour Party, their equivalent of the Democratic Party. And that's what he did. He went to this summer camp for these kids and killed children because they were going to grow up to be liberals. He quoted Frank Gaffney of the Center for Security Policy. Frank Gaffney, the notorious right-winger here in the United States, 7 times. He cited the Foundation for Defense of Democracies twice. Pajamas Media twice. The Middle East Media Research Institute 16 times. Daniel Pipes 18 times. Robert Spencer of Jihad Watch, an American right-wing fearmonger, cited him 162 times. You think the fear and loathing that George Bush brought this nation after 9/11 hasn't gone worldwide? It has.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
And the Republicans are playing right into it. Oh, let's destroy the American economy so that we can take down Obama in the next election, because they got nothing to offer.